First to come off is the handlebars. Cool.
We can install that clamp around the steering wheel right here, but when you take the handlebar, you got a little bit more room.
Gotcha.
If you are installing the damper on your bike, the Scott damper, you got to take the handlebar off anyway, so might as well.
Gotcha.
And you have these spacers that most people don't. You got all kinds of gadgets on your bike.
Because
look at these.
I've got all the goodies.
All the goodies. With this, I can't even.
I know the.
So you take these off. Hold on to the handlebar because the handlebar is going to be loose and it's going to be a little bit messy. What I usually do, I just put a towel down so it doesn't scratch the dash.
Gotcha.
I'm just going to leave it here for now. Just get the towel. Make sure it's nice and dirty.
I can't add too much more dirt to my bike.
There we go. And just take the bar off and rest it there, like that. That's it.
Cool.
And the next step is to take these guys off. Let's take the spacer off, and we will put our bracket, this one, under the bar, and it gives you some rise.
Good.
It gives you some adjustability. You got 4 positions to choose from.
Sweet.
I'll explain it later.
Okay. So that's okay. We're back in business. Hopefully there's a clear picture now, and we got the Loctites on the boats and torquing the specs.
25 with Loctite. I think it's 25. It's under this. Yeah, I said 25. And then these guys go in. Same thing. Just a little bit of Loctite. Well, now I suggest usually don't Loctite it in the first time. Put it on, sit on the bike, find the right position,
Right.
and then once you figure it out, take it out, Loctite it, and torque it to spec.
Right, because now you have a bit more adjustability with your mount.
So what I like to put is that first position with the bar rotated forward, like the spacer rotated forward.
There you go.
This is my favorite one. So give it a try. See if you like it.
There you go. Recommendations from the pro.
Oh, I'm a pro, huh?
You're now a pro. Yes.
Okay. All right. That, and then also torques, and then you got the.
And then what's the cool thing is that so I had these risers. So, but by the way, they'll be for sale. But
We're going to make risers of different thicknesses that match this kit. It's
perfect.
Coming soon.
Okay, so that's a future TripleClamp Moto product here. But in my case, the height of it is about the same as what my risers were, and it was just perfect because 5'10", 30-inch inseam, standing up. I think it was a nice combination for me, anyways. Now that I gave you my personal bio, I'm single, I'm available.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Rolling.
Rolling.
Rocking and rolling. Okay, here we go. This is the 1190 style head straight for 1190 and 1190R.
Cool.
If you get the part that includes the damper, not just the head straight that protects the head, it reinforces the head like brackets, is that you won't get these arms and this bridge and the pin and the bracket that is installed on this bike already.
Gotcha.
The bracket is very straightforward.
Yep.
You just take the stock screws out, put this guy in, put the spacers back on, and you get 4 different positions to choose from.
That's sweet. And as I said before, that's just bike porn. That's so sexy.
This is a pretty strong piece. It's all stainless steel, billet aluminum anodized. This is gonna outlast your bike. The way it works is that it clamps around the frame at
Perfect.
the top here. If you got a piece of plastic here, you just gotta pop that out.
Okay.
And then these two will protect the headlight, reinforces the headlight assembly on the top. Those flimsy pins that are in the front.
Yeah, that's
Like that.
ridiculous.
So the whole headlight is mounted on the two tiny pins, like here,
Yep.
that are welded on the steering stock, and the pin just snap off.
Seen
So-
too many pictures like that. Yep.
Right, so that goes at the top, and this one, two of these go at the bottom. This one uses the same hole as your stock steering damper at the bottom. And then you also have the option of putting your damper back on top of this, or if you have a Scott damper, then we highly recommend to not use the redundant two dampers on one bike. Just doesn't make sense.
I'm getting the Scott damper.
Brand spanking new one because your old one doesn't work. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna put that on, and we've seen how these works on. The only trick here is that the screws that come with the kit use a 7mm Allen keys. We had a very hard time sourcing the similar torque screws.
Okay.
We can't find them, so they come with Allen keys that are M7, but the driver T45 that you use to take the stock screws out work on the screws that we include with the kit. So
Sweet.
just Loctite it and torque them, and you're good to go. I'm going to take this apart and put it in this way.
Sounds good. We'll be back.
Okay, so this is again for the 1190, not the 1090 and not the 1290, but some older 1290s, like those white old 1290 SA Super Adventures, and they call them SA or ST or SAT. They have the same frame style as the 1190, and they take this kit. For all other 1290 and 1190, this kit doesn't apply, so don't get confused with that. Those get a clamp around the steering. But here I showed you the piece before I went in, so we went ahead and installed it. It's pretty straightforward. You pop this plastic out. Obviously you take the tank cover off, you pop this little rubber triangle that goes there, pop it out. There are two black U-shaped aluminum pieces that goes one under here, one under here, and the stainless steel piece gets screwed to it with 4 screws. That's it. You
Fantastic.
just Loctite all of them and tighten them. Then come over on this side. Then on the either side, we get one of these babies. Don't mix them up. There's a left and there's a right. Right? The kit that you get comes assembled, so you will know where things go. And this piece, again, there gets 2 screw here. And 1 screw, before you start putting it in, that you take that screw that goes into the frame, which we're trying to protect, reinforce. You take this screw off, and then you start assembling. But one thing you need to pay attention to is that, let me get the screw. So the kit comes with one of these washers. This washer goes between the bike and this bracket, not under the screw. So it has to go between the bike and the bracket. And the easy way of putting it is that before you start putting this screw on, just put a little bit of grease behind the washer, drive the screw in, and that will hold the washer in place so it doesn't fall off, right?
Good trick.
Yeah, because there's indentation on the plastic that this washer will fill, so you end up with a metal to metal contact. You don't end up squishing the plastic. So that's important. The washer goes on the bike side, and then the screw on this side, right? And in this, just to show you where things go, I don't have the washer in place, obviously. Then you tighten them. That's it. Repeat the process on the other side, and you're good.
And then you have the head brace.
Right,
Perfect.
and the
Top
tightening
part.
and the tightening order for this is that you start by the screw. Right, you put everything in finger tight. You start by this screw, and then you end up. Then you tighten these screws. But one other thing is that I loosen these guys just a little, just to show you a little bit of flexibility in the design. You see this guy moves a little bit. What I want to do is just,
Can you show that again?
it just moves a little bit with all the screws loose. So what I like to do is that I pull the whole kit back toward me, right? And then I tighten the screws, right? So it's sitting in the most further back position toward the rider.
And why would you want to do that?
Because you want to keep the kit further back. There is, once you tighten the bolt, then everything sits perfectly in its place.
And provides the clearance as designed.
Exactly. And then
Perfect.
you torque all of these, right?
Cool.
Everything finger tight. Start by the frame screws, the one that goes into the frame, then tighten everything else.
Perfect.
That's just rule of the game. Everything in place, finger tight. Start with the bolts that go into the frame, then work your way out. In the sheet that you get with the kit, there's an order, there's a number. Once again, this is where the washer goes, like so,
There we go.
right? Make sure the washer is on this side.
And
That's
this is the neck side.
That's right, that goes in
Perfect.
like that. 2 screws here, 1 there.
Awesome.
Okay, and you use the longer screws that we provide with the kit.
Cool. All right.
Okay, so this is what I mean by with a little bit of grease to help you save your sanity. You see, I just put a little bit of grease behind the washer and a little bit behind the screw.
Just so
See?
it doesn't fall out.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Sweet.
Easy peasy. You still have to hold your finger behind it. This is the stock screw. We want to take this out, right? You don't need that anymore. Then come here. Show them the.
Okay.
Then I put this in place.
If I
Push the
can.
wires away.
So
All
hopefully,
right.
let me know if the camera's in the way.
Well, let me put the screw in and then you can
Okay.
shoot it. See? So you put the washer on the inside, Loctite. Put the longer screw that comes with the kit. Then you want to tighten this, and once it reaches a point that is almost touching, you go ahead and put the screws into the U-shape.
Want to tell them about the little trick of the tool that you have?
Oh, I love this tool. Look at this thing. I mean, here you can use a small 1/4-inch driver too, but I really like this little one.
Makes life a lot easier. And
Oh
then
yeah. Okay, and I bring this guy up. You see, it lines up. The slot would line up with these, and then you use these little screws. Screen
Awesome.
went up.
I just learned something new.
Turns this
On the Hero, in order to turn the screen on, just tap it. Who
Oh.
knew?
Okay, so we got everything here installed on Yuan's bike. As you can see, I tightened everything here. This bolt first, and then these two, and these guys were all finger tight. I tightened them all to 10 Newton. And then, so as the other side, don't take out the stock screw that holds the pin that we're trying to reinforce on both sides at the same time. Take one side, install the bracket, put the screw in, tighten it, and then go to the other side. Because if you take both of them out, the headlight kind of gets loose and would be hard to find the screw into the right place.
Makes sense.
Once everything is in place, there's a tower that goes here for those guys who have a steering damper, and then in order to install that, you have to install the plastic first. The way that the plastic goes in place is that you put the bolt in here. I'm going to put that in later. So for this video, I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to install the cover back on. The way that the cover goes on is that there's a little lip here.
Yep.
So it doesn't go up straight down. You have to go forward, and then pull the cover back towards yourself. So you see it's a little bit off. I press in. I press in here, and I just pull back.
And it slips in. There you go. Perfect.
You're in. And all these holes line up, and then you put the screws in.
Perfect.
Once that's in, you might as well do this part too. We install the bridge. The bridge goes like so. The pin is away from you. You just screw in with some Loctite. Screws right in here. Right? And then the spacer and the other screw on top of it. Then you can pop the damper in.
Sexy, man.
That's it. Okay, so the tank cover is back on with these screws here. What I suggest about the tank cover is that don't tighten the screws until all of them are in. That usually makes it easier. It gives you a little bit of wiggle room. And now we want to put this bridge on. So the way it works is that you put the screws in through the spacer, some Loctite, blue Loctite, and then this guy goes in here, and this guy goes in like that, like jewelry.
Precision fit.
Then put it there. There. You say you had the torque wrench over there?
Oh, sorry about the earthquake
Yeah,
on the video.
well, you set it to 10 and finish them off. And the damper is pretty easy for those of you who would like to. Don't leave your torque wrench loaded. By the way, for those of you who want to reuse your damper between bites, this kit makes it so much easier because you can just pop the damper up with the 2 screws like that. So a note about the damper. This is how you're supposed to have the arm installed. They call it reverse or under the damper. And you want it the flat one with +5. If you look at it like that, the tip of the arm just pokes out about 5 millimeters or so past the damper itself, and you have this +5 stamp on it, and it goes in like that. And you got this pin. Turn this pin by hand, make it straight, put the arm straight as well. Try to put the arm in place. If it doesn't go, just move it a little bit until you can put the arm in. And 2 screws. Again, put some thread lock on them and tighten them. Oh, don't get frustrated. Make sure there's beer, and then
Beer is essential to this
exactly.
installation. I think that's off. It's skewed.
Is it beer o'clock yet? Or is it 2 o'clock now? It's too early. So you can access these bolts with a Allen key that has got the ball, and depending on where you have installed your bar, it could be, you may get a straight shot at them. If not, you can go on an angle. Not going to torque this for now, just just to show you how it works. That's it.
Awesome.
Nope. You want to torque these to 10 Newton. And you got a steering damper. You can dial it to soft.
Adjust on the fly. Love it.
See?
Oh, that's pure porn.
Okay, so the brackets for the bottom part of head straight go in like so. And these two holes, the oval slots that you see, is the same. They're gonna use the holes that you used to have for your steering damper, stock steering damper like that. So first thing first, take the steering damper off, and it comes off with a socket wrench, and it's usually easier to use the number 10 short flat wrench like that to take these two screws off. Discard them, you're not going to need them. And what you want to do is that put a little bit of grease behind the washer here and behind the screw so everything stays in place, doesn't fall. Loctite it, and then we're going to take the screws from the bike one side at a time and drive it in. And usually it's easier to use a socket, 4mm socket like that, Allen key, and tighten it by hand. Once this guy is in place, then you put one of these two screws in, depending on if you want to put your damper back on. If you want to put the damper back on, use a longer screw, otherwise use a shorter screw. Again, Loctite it and go all the way to the top until it's finger tight. So this piece is sitting right against the frame. Once it's at that stage, you can start torquing these, but start with the small screw. So torque this one first, then come back and torque this guy. But make sure that this is finger tight all the way to the top and sitting against the frame. If you're not sure, tighten it by hand and then put the wrench on it, tighten it, then loosen it just a little, just like a quarter of a turn, so the piece can still move and find its right space. And then we go to the other side.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Okay. So we got the final product up there. Just want to give everyone a quick show. And hopefully people can see that. But it looks like it's pretty solid. You got the mounts in where the old steering was. That's a great product. Thank you, TripleClamp Moto.